Hello. So this is the last of my series of 5 questions to ask in a conversation to get a conversation going. So this one is, what is it like to work at your company? Now this is a bit unusual. This is something that will probably be a unusual question for them. They may take a moment to think. Okay, if they really struggle, you can help them out and say, well, at my company, it's like working like, and then you can add your response about working at your company, which I'll go through in a moment here. This gives them a chance to kind of understand what kind of question you're asking and what you expect in an answer. This gives them more comfort when they answer. So that's a possible choice if they don't have an answer right ahead. So say you get this question, what is it like to work at your company? Well, there's a couple approaches you can take to it. You can either choose one or several of these to talk about. Okay? The first one is the people. Often companies will say people are the most important part of the business. Okay? So, what kind of people do you work with? Are they outgoing? Social? Do they like to go out on Friday night together? Do they go out to dinner all the time? That kind of interaction tells what kind of company you have. Is everybody family people that always go home immediately after work and don't do anything together? Or are they people that like to socialize? Do you eat lunch together? These are the kinds of things that express how your company culture is. These are the kinds of things that you can talk about, that the people at your office are very friendly, or maybe they're reserved. They don't like to share too many facts about their personal lives. For the second one, you can talk about the culture of working there. Now, while the people are all the ingredients, how they work together is a bit different. Okay? Is it family friendly? Do they have flexible hours? These are some things that can make working for your company very advantageous and a bit of a bragging point to your friends that you can choose when you want to work. Okay, so those are great things that you can share. Is it a fun environment? The epitome of this is Google, where they have all kinds of things because they work very intense when they do work. So they need something to do to relax. So they also have an element of fun to try to prevent burnout. Okay, so that's the kind of thing you could talk about, their culture. What's the culture of your place? Our culture is a very close-knit and fun environment to work in. That's why I really like working here at ULC. That hard working when we need to put the work in is there, but we also like to laugh and goof and make fun of each other when the times are easier. The next can be about the work itself. So, is the work rewarding? For us, I find a lot of reward personally when I see a student who has struggled with a particular thing to suddenly make a breakthrough and understand something, that light of understanding in their eyes. That's why I come to work every day. I want to see that in my students every single time I teach them. So those are the kinds of things. That's the work. That's what you're doing there. Okay? Is it predictable? Is it something that happens? Well, accounting, we always are doing the same kinds of things every month at the same kinds of times. There are people that's what they like. And then there's the reverse, the people who like diverse, where they go into work and their plans are usually completely in tatters by their coffee break. And they have to readjust everything depending on what emails they arrive in their inbox. So what kind of work schedule do you work in? Those are the kinds of things you can talk about. Okay? Unusual. What's unusual about what you do? Is there something that you've done at work that most people wouldn't know about or understand? Okay, so for example, when we're teaching grammar and things, occasionally strange things will come in, like how do you deal with people that don't fit a normal pattern? How do you use the grammar to describe them? So those are some things that can be unusual in our particular job. Okay, what you do, okay, more personal rather than as a business what everybody does. This is a bit more personal, what you personally do. What kinds of people? Who do you deal with? Do you deal with a customer? Do you deal with internal people? Do you deal with external vendors that are supplying you with things? Who do you do business with? Who do you work with? That can be something that's very interesting to get into. What do you do with them? What's the purpose of talking to those people? Are you trying to get new business? Are you trying to find new products? Are you looking into research and development? What you do. And where. Sometimes where you do it can be much more interesting. So if you have to go on site to an oil rig, well, that's kind of an exciting adventure for most of us office workers. It'd be an extremely unusual place to go and do business. So think about your job. Think about where you work. Think about the people you work with, the culture of your environment, the work that you do, and what you do. Surely between one or two of those things, you can come up with a good way to describe your work. And then hopefully, if you give them a good answer, you should be able to help them provide a good answer back. You can always ask following questions. Well, what are the people like? What's the culture like in your company? So if you have any questions about this, feel free to put them into the comments below. If you have any other good conversation questions, add them too. If you're curious about some of the grammar I've used or some of the grammar that you might need to use to do this, check out our YouTube channel. Our teachers Mark and Matt are doing a really good job of providing a lot of grammar instruction there. If you're looking at private lessons of how to answer this and be coached in how you can be more effective as a communicator, then take a look at our webpage, www.ulc.com.sg. Until next time, I hope to see you again.